So in this video, we are going to learn how to create presentation in Google Slides from Typeform responses. Now suppose guys you have created some kind of online form using Typeform and you're getting some data from the users using that form. And you want to use that data and create some kind of presentations in Google Slide in bulk and that too automatically. So in this video, we will see how you can automate this process. And in this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new form response in Typeform, automatically with the same details, we are going to create a new presentation in Google Slides. So in Google Slides, we already have a template, and in that template, we are going to put in the form responses which we are going to receive from Typeforms. So if you want to know how you can set up this automation, you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Typeforms to Google Slides. And then just click on Create Typeform to Google Slides. Now you can see that a workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. Now the idea here is, first we have to connect our form which we have created using Typeform with Pabbly Connect, so that every time we receive a new form submission, a new form response in Typeform, automatically that form response should be captured inside our Pabbly Connect workflow. Then after that, using Pabbly Connect, we are going to send those form responses to Google Slide, and in our Google Slides account, we have created this template of a certificate. So in this video, I'm just taking an example of certificate. Like using Google Slides, I want to create some certificates for the event in which the students have participated. So here I have created a form which I'm going to share with the students where they can enter their details. And with the same details, I want to create the certificates for the event's participation. And after that, after creating these certificates using Pabbly Connect's automation, all of these certificates will be stored in Google Drive of the same account over here in a specific folder. So let's see how it is done. Now here in Trigger window, in Choose App, search for Typeform. Just select it. After selecting Typeform in Trigger Event from the drop-down, select Trigger Event as New Entry. Then just click on Connect and select Add New Connection. So here guys, we have to connect our Typeform account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Connect with Typeform button. And then here, because we have already logged into our Typeform account in our browser, Pabbly Connect has detected the same account. Just scroll down and then we have to click on this Accept button over here. And as we click on Accept, we will see our Typeform account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the next thing it asks us is the form. And here in this drop-down, you can see all the forms which you have created in your Typeform account. Right now in my Typeform account, I have created only 2 forms. First one is named as contact form and second one is named as certification form. So out of all of the form which we have created, the form submission, the form responses from which particular form we want to capture inside Pabbly Connect. So I have created this form named as certification form, using which we want to create the certificates or the new slides or documents in Google Slides. So from this drop down, I'm going to select this particular form over here. And after this, what we have to do, we just have to click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that it has now changed to Waiting for Response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get some response, some data from Typeform of a new form submission. So let's do it. We will go to the form which we have created using Typeform. We'll get the share link of this particular form and then open it in a new tab over here. After opening this form, we are going to enter the details of a test user, a dummy user, and make a form submission in this form. Let's click on Start and then let's enter the name. For example, demo user. This is the name of the person. Then let's move to the next tab. The email address is this. This is the email address. Now the next thing it asks us is the mobile number. So let me enter a dummy mobile number. Then it is asking us for the age. For example, I'll enter the age as 8 years. and then participation events. So here we have an option that in which particular event the student or the person has participated. So we have several events over here, out of which I'm just going to select the 100 meters race. And then it is asking us the date, that on which particular date this event has occurred. And for the same date, we are going to create the certificate as well. We are going to mention the same date on the certificate. For example, I'll take the year date as 14th of April 1404 2023. And let's click on submit. So as we click on submit, we will see just now we have received a new form response, a new submission in the form which you have created using Typeform. And because we have connected this form with Pabbly Connect, we will see the same form submission data, the same form response will be received inside Pabbly Connect as well. So we'll go to Pabbly Connect, and yes, here in the trigger window of Pabbly Connect, where we have connected our Typeform account, you can see that we have received some response. And in this response, you will see the exact same details of the form submission. So we will just scroll down to this responses and we will see the same form submission details. So let's search for these details. And yes, here you can see that the same phone number which we have entered while submitting the form. We'll scroll down. Here you can see the same email address which we have entered. Then you can see the same name. Then we'll scroll down further and then we will see some other details regarding to it as well. Like here we have entered the age as 8. So here you can see the 8. The event which we have selected was 100 meters race. You can see the same event. And then here you can see the same date, 23rd, 2023. 0414, so 14th of April 2023. This means, guys, the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. We have successfully received the form submission, the form responses from Typeform inside our Pabbly Connect in the trigger window. Now, every time we are going to receive a new form submission, this automation workflow is going to get triggered, and with the same form submission responses, a new slide will be created in Google Slide. Now, after completing the step 1, let's move to step 2. And in step 2, using these details, we want to create a new slide in Google Slide from the template which we have already created. So for that, just scroll down, come to our action window, and here in Choose App, search for Google Slides. And then just select it. After selecting Google Slides, in action event from the drop-down, select the action event as Create Presentation from Template. Just select it, click on Connect, and select Add New Connection. So here, guys, we are going to connect our Google Slides account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Sign In with Google button. After that, just select your Google Slides account in which you have created the template. And then just scroll down and click on Continue. And as we click on Continue, we will see our Google Slides account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the template presentation. That all the presentation, all the slides which we have created in our Google Slides account, out of all of them, from which particular template we want to create this new slide. So here in the drop down, you can see a list of all the presentations which I have created in my Google Slides account. Out of all of this, we are going to use this template named as Participation Certificate Template. So I have created a dedicated template to create certificates of participation for all the users who are submitting the form. You just have to create a template presentation in your Google Slides account using which you want to create new slides, new presentation for every form submission. So here I've created this template. So I'm going to select this exact same template from this dropdown, Participation Certificate Template. After selecting the presentation, the template, the next thing it asks us of title of new presentation. That the new presentation which we are going to create, what will be the title of that new presentation? So I want the title of the new presentation, the new slide which we are going to create, to be a combination of the name of the person and the email of the person. So here, the user who is submitting the form, I want to mention the name of the person, and after a hyphen, I want to mention the email of the person. This will be the file name of the new slides, the new presentation which we are going to create. So how you can do that? For that, the form responses, the form submission data which we have received in our trigger window, from these responses, we have to map the name of the person and the email of the person over here in this field of title of new presentation. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field, and here in the drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Typeform of a new form submission. Out of all of these responses, first select the response of the name of the person because we want to add the name of the person as the first response. So let's search for the response of name of the person. And here it is. This is the response. Just select it and map it over here. After this, just add a hyphen and then we wanted to mention or add the email address of the person. So from this drop down, once again, just select the email address over here. And here it is. So whatever name and email address the user is going to enter while submitting the form, with the same name and email address will be the file name for the presentation for the certificate which we have created using Google Slides for them. And as I told you, all the presentation, all the slides which we are going to create using this automation, all of those slides are going to get stored in our Google Drive folder of the same Google Slides account. And here in the next step, it is asking us the same thing, new presentation location. So that it is asking us that the new presentations, new slides which we are going to create using these details and the template, on which folder, on which specific folder in our Google Drive account, we want to save these new slides. So here guys, in this drop down, you can see a list of all the folders which we have created in our Google Drive account. Out of all of this, I have created a dedicated folder named as certificates over here. And in this particular folder, I want to store all the slides, all the certificates which we create. So here guys, what we have to do, we just have to select that particular folder over here from this drop down. After selecting the folder, here you can see some fields, event, date of participation, current date, and the name. Now here you must be thinking, what are these fields? So we'll get back to the template slide which we have created. And in this template size, here you can see that I have added some text in double curly braces over here. Here we can see the name, here we have the event, here we have the date of participation in double curly braces, and here we have the current date over here. So here guys, the name, event, date of participation, current date, all of these things, all of this text which we are going to enter in place of this are going to keep on changing for every new slide, every new form submission which we get. So every time we will get a new name, the event will be different, the date of participation will be different, and the current date will also be different. So here, these details are going to be some dynamic text, some variables which will be keep on changing. And to add these kind of dynamic text, to add these kind of variables in our slide which we are going to create using this automation, we add some text in these double curly braces. And whatever text we are going to enter in this double curly braces, the same text can be seen over here inside Pabbly Connect as fields. So here you can see we have added name, and here in Pabbly Connect, you can see name over here. Now after that, here you can see event we have added in double curly braces. Here you can see the name of the event. Then you can see the date of participation which we have written over here. You can see date of participation, and at last we have the current date. So you can see the same field of current date over here. Now here in Pabbly Connect, in this field, we want to mention, we have to basically enter that what are the text, what are the details which we want to add in place of these variables of a new slide which we are going to create. Like here guys, I'm going to create a new slide, a new presentation, or a new certificate for this form submission which we have received. And in that particular slide, I want to mention the details which I have received from this form submission. So one by one, we are going to map these details from this form submission over here in their respective fields. Like the first field which we have is of event. So here guys, from the drop down from Typeform responses, we have received the response of the event which user has selected while submitting the form. Here it is 100 meters race, which we have selected while making the test form submission. So we are going to select that same response and map it over here. Then we have the date of participation. So the form submitting user has also entered the date of participation over here. So from this drop down, you can select the same date over here. Then we have the current date. Like in current date, you can manually enter the current date, that on which particular date this basically form submission is happening, or for which particular date you want to create the certificate. Or instead of manually entering it, here in response, you can see that we have received a response in the initial stages of responses, that is the date submitted that at what date and time this form was submitted. So using a feature of Pabbly Connect that is called date time formatter, you can change the format of this date and get the current date over here, that on what particular date this form is submitted, on the same date this certificate will be generated. So either we have two options. We can get the date from form submission, that on whatever date the form is submitted, for the same date the certificate will be created. Like we can add the current date, today's date over here. Or what we can do, we can manually enter a specific date for each and every certificate over here. Now I want to add the current date, and to add a current date in our automation workflow, we can use a feature of Pabbly Connect, a module of Pabbly Connect that is called date time formatter. For that, just click on this Add Action Step button before this Google Slide step, and here in Choose App, search for Datetime Formatter. Just select it. After selecting Datetime Formatter in Action Event from the drop-down, select the action event as Current Date over here. Then just click on Connect. After clicking on the Connect, it is asking us basic format, that in which particular format we want the current date. So here in the drop-down, you can see a list of different formats. Out of all of them, we want to select the format of year, month, and date. So in the same format, we have received the date of participation from Typeform responses, as you can see over here. Here it is, year, month, and date. And in the same form, we want to add the current date as well. Then it is asking us include time in response, that do we want to add the current time in the response or not. So we don't want to add the time. So we have selected false over here. And then just click on save and send test request. Now when we click on save and send test request, here you can see that we have received the response. We have received the current date over here in response. And we are going to map this same response of current date over here in this field. So right now, after clicking here in the dropdown, you can't see any data to map. This is because we have added a new step before this Google Slide step. So what we have to do, we just have to click on this connected button in Google Slide, just select the existing connection and click on save. We just have to reconnect our Google Slides account, this action step. And after reconnecting it, once again click on this field, and now you can see both the steps from the previous step, the mapping data from both the previous steps over here. We can see the Typeform responses and also the response from Datetime Formatter. And from the response of Datetime Formatter, map the response of current date over here. Then at last, we have this field of name, where we wanted to mention the name of the participant. So we have received the name of the participant from Typeform responses. So from the drop-down, from Typeform responses, just select the response of name and map it over here. Here it is, and map it. So in this way, you can basically add any variable, any dynamic text, and n number of dynamic text according to your requirement. Like if you want to add 10 dynamic text over here in the slide which you have created in Google Slide in your template, you can add them and you can get all of those details in the Typeform responses which you are creating. So you just have to get the details from Typeform responses using the form submission from the user, and you can add all of those details of your choice over here in this template and create new slides, new presentation using those details over here. So after mapping the details on all of their respective fields, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now after clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the data which we have mapped over here, using these details and the template which we have selected, a new presentation is being created in our Google Slides account. And the presentation which was created is stored in this particular folder in our Google Drive, and the name of the presentation is this, whatever data which we have entered or mapped over here in this title of new presentation section. So let's check it. We will go to this particular Google Drive folder. We'll just go there, and yes, here you can see that a new slide, a new presentation has been created in this particular folder. The name of the presentation is the exact same name, the combination of the name of the user who has submitted the form and after a hyphen their email address. Now when we will open this presentation, when we will open this slide, here you can see that the details in this slides are the exact same details which we have received from form submission. Here you can see the same name. Then after this, guys, here you can see the same event which we have entered over here. So in our template section, here you can see that after performance in, here we have mentioned the variable of event. We have written event in double curly braces. And we have mentioned the name of the event from form responses over here in this field of event. And here in the new presentation, you can see the exact same event over here. Then here you can see the exact same date which the user has entered while submitting the form. And then here you can see the current date, the date on which we are generating this certificate. This automation is basically running. The same date, the same time when the user has submitted the form. So this means the automation workflow which we have created in this video using Pabbly Connect is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new response in Typeform, using those responses, using those form submission data, automatically we can create new slides, new presentations in our Google Slides account with that template. And those new presentations will be stored in our Google Drive folder. So guys, after setting up this automation, let's test this automation workflow once in real time. For that, we'll get back to Typeform, and then here we are going to create another form submission. We are going to enter a new details and submit the form. So let's start. This time, let's change the name of the person as test user. This is the name. Now let's enter the email address as well. This is the email address of the person. Then let's add the demo mobile number, the age, the event. Let's select the event as music competition and the event date as 16th of April 2023 and click on submit. So just now we have submitted a form using Typeform. In our Typeform, we have received a new response. And as we receive this response, we will see automatically within few seconds, using the same form submission details, a new certificate will be generated with the same template which we have selected in this automation workflow. So let's check our Google Drive account. We'll go to Google Drive. We'll just refresh our folder once. And yes, here you can see that within seconds, a new slide, a new presentation is created and stored in our specific Google Drive folder, which we have selected. And the name of the presentation is the same name, the name of the person, test user, and after a hyphen, we can see the same email address, which we have entered in form submission. When we will open this presentation, we will see this is the exact same template of certificate which we have selected. And here you can see the same details. You can see the same name, same event for which we have selected the form submission, same date, and also the same current date, today's date on which we have created this certificate over here. This means the automation workflow which we have created is working perfectly fine, and we have tested this automation as well. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of this exact same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone this exact same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this automation workflow for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestion, and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.